Our guest of honor, Ms. Grace Khew, Minister for Sustainability and the Environment, distinguished guests, our distinguished speakers, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to all of you, and welcome to this first edition, or the only edition, of the Hybrid Asia Clean Energy Summit 2020, which is part of the Singapore International Energy Week 2020. May I, on behalf of the Sustainable Energy Association and our partners, warmly welcome all our distinguished speakers, exhibitors, sponsors, visitors and delegates that are present in this room, and those of you who are participating digitally from all over the world. Hello and welcome to all of you. And I'd like to thank all of you for taking off some of your valuable sleep to be with us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all in unprecedented times, presenting all of us in the clean energy sector major challenges. Like all challenges, we are also presented with opportunities in this new normal. A good example is this hybrid conference and exhibition, where we find new ways of sharing stories and experiences, reaching out to a majority of our audience all over the world and participants here in this hall, but throughout the region and globally. ACES 2020 is organized by the Sustainable Energy Association of Singapore and DMG Events, and co-organized by our esteemed partners, the Solar Energy Research Institute of Singapore, or ACES, and the Energy Research Institute at NTU, or ARIAN. Much urgent work is therefore needed by all nations to reduce carbon emissions and significantly change its energy use and lifestyle patterns if we must avert further cataclysmic events in the world. However, let's first address the elephant in the room. COVID-19 was impacted our world in less than a year in unprecedented proportions. As of today, there are more than 42 million cases in the world, with a death rate of more than 1.14 million people globally. Europe and the US and many Northern Hemisphere countries are seeing a major spike now because of the cold weather, as more people are staying indoors. Hospital admissions are rapidly increasing, straining capacities in many hospitals. During periods like this, we have to recognize the commitment of the frontline workers and health workers globally, especially those here in Singapore. These dedicated and committed doctors and workers have kept all of us safe and have made Singapore an example of how such crises can be managed effectively. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts. However, the tragedy of the COVID pandemic has taken much attention away from the threat of climate change. Governments all over the world devote themselves in protecting lives and livelihoods. While that is important, we must recognize that we cannot ignore climate change and its destructive effects. Just in the last 6 months, and even over the last couple to 3 days, heavy rains, typhoons, hurricanes have brought floods, landslides, that cannot be controlled. And many parts of the world are suffering also from forest infernos that have gone out of control, all causing many deaths, total disruptions in their lives, homes, properties, and creating epidemics in its path, where human waste, contaminated drinking water sources are killing many children and adults. Ladies and gentlemen, these are extreme, challenging times. Globally, and unlike other crises that we have faced, every economy, without exceptions, are affected. The greatest challenge that we face if we do not know when this pandemic and crisis will pass. Instead, it is getting worse, and there is no sight soon of a vaccine that will help us solve the problems which puts many countries and businesses under tremendous economic stress. This is the time all governments, businesses, and civil society all over the world, regardless of wealth, power, religion, have to work as one to solve this global pandemic and climate crisis. Now is the time we think of humanity as a whole, as we are all linked and we face the same fate. We have solved problems together in the past, and we can overcome and do the same now, as our lives and future generations depend on it. The good news is that it's not all gloom and doom in our world. We are now at the cusp of an era of renewables, and I believe the regional renewable capex will overtake that of upstream oil and gas next year. Many banks and funds have declared their policies of either not investing in coal power plants or phasing it out completely due to the carbon risk. Large utilities and oil majors are now factoring carbon pricing and offsetting into their plans and are in process of diversifying their portfolios. Transition towards renewables, clean technologies, and energy efficiency is already happening. This, thankfully, has been enabled by grid parity prices of renewable electricity in many countries, coupled with the growth and deployment of storage technologies and smart grids. We believe this will continue to scale up the urgent adoption of renewable energy and energy efficiencies across all geographies. However, energy transition from our fossil fuel energy system have been in existence since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. This is where technology alone cannot win the war. We need government commitment and strong policies. Commitment and demand and drive from corporations, as well as financing from the private, public sectors and multilaterals, to be activated to reach our SDG goals set by the UNFCCC. You will learn more about this from experts in our afternoon session on driving the clean energy transition. This year, we have an excellent lineup at ACES featuring Clean Energy Leaders Dialogue, the Clean Energy Financial Summit, as well as our partner events. And these events are International Floating Solar Symposium, which is virtual, organized by ACES, Clean Cooling Solutions Workshop, virtual, Access to Clean Cooking Workshop, virtual, and this is organized with the Asian Development Bank. And the US ASEAN Energy Storage Forum, which is virtual, and this will be organized with the US Department of Commerce. Alongside the thought leadership and knowledge sharing on digital and in-person platforms, ACES will also have a virtual exhibition where you can meet clean energy companies who are showcasing their technologies and services on digital platforms. I would encourage you to use the various tools and apps available to set up meetings with all our exhibitors if you have not already done so. This year, ACES will also continue to bring you startups that are instrumental in bringing innovation and disruptive solutions much needed by our sector. We will be running an annual competition, Power ACE, on the sidelines of ACES, and we are heartened to receive many outstanding entries from startups from all over the world. 12 of them have been shortlisted to pitch to an expert panel to win 2 awards provided by the Private Financing Advisory Network, or PFAN, worth 13,000, and I believe this is 13,000 Singapore dollars each, and 1 award worth 100,000 Singapore dollars of services provided by Ecolab's Center of Innovation for Energy at the Nanyang Technological University. You can visit these 12 startups at our digital exhibition floor and hear their pitches virtually on the 28th of October from 2 to 6 p.m. In closing, I would like to thank Minister Grace Khew for gracing our conference ACES and helping us to open it. I would like also to thank our partners, Ariane and Ceres, for their invaluable partnership, and DMG Events for the unwavering support, and include our many supporters, sponsors for our long-time partnerships and partners like the Asian Development Bank, Singapore Economic Development Board, Energy Market Authority of Singapore, and Enterprise Singapore. Our special thanks and appreciation to the following sponsors: Sunseap Group Private Limited as our lead and track sponsors, SunGrow as track sponsor, and our associate sponsor, NG Lab, Wärtsilä, the High Commission of Canada, Hitachi ABB Power Grid, Innovation Norway Singapore, REC Group, and Siemens. Dear sponsors, your support has been invaluable, and we thank you very much for being generous under these difficult times. We are very much appreciated and look forward to your continued support next year and in the year to come. Finally, I wish all of you a present conference, as well as those who have tuned in digitally, a successful and fruitful ACES 2020 to all of you. And to quote Mr. Chan Chun Sing from his recent interview with the Straits Times, if water was a story for the last 50 years, energy and developing Singapore into a green or bright green spark is the story for the next 50 years. We are all actors in this story, so let's play our part well. Thank you and enjoy the conference.